Hello, Siegfried here. Today we're going to be talking about how can games be educational? And this question comes to me from my friend Tracy. Thank you, Tracy. Well, I have a lot of experience as a gamer. I don't have a lot of experience using games as educational tools, but I do have a lot of experience learning from games. So I'm mostly going to talk about my personal experience in this field. So we're going to look at different vectors and different ways that you can learn from games. Now, we're not just talking about games that are meant to teach you. You can learn from almost all your experiences in life. So it's a question of what can you take and what can you learn from playing video games? Well, let's start. The very basic is a game can be a medium in which to convey new information to you. That can come in the form of something that you read, something that is portrayed to you, or something that you just experience and then wonder about and learn from like any other experience you might have in life. So there are just so many topics that you can learn about from games. A good example would be history. One of my favorite games is Civilization. And while you play out a fantasy period of history, there's all kinds of great historical information in the game that you can learn about, world leaders, different countries, different periods of history. It goes on and on and on. And there are many, many games like this where you can get a lot of interesting historical and cultural information from just playing the game. And then it may lead you to read more about it or become really fascinated in a particular historical figure or culture. It's amazing. It's just a door that opens up into a huge world. And a lot of people come from gaming and get involved in other areas of learning as a result. Society, I think it's a way for children who maybe aren't exposed to other parts of society or other parts of life can get experience and be exposed to these ideas. There's a lot of interesting themes within games, social themes and moral themes that can be explored, and ideas of political things like the game BioShock is a sort of a commentary on Ayn Randian philosophy and sort of the dark ways that a dystopian society could go. And there are many other games like that that comment on different ideas in society, and it just goes on and on. And I think that's a really rich area that games can help us learn about. Art, there are many games that can teach you about art. You can learn about famous paintings, you can learn about music, there are many music games where you can explore and learn about new artists, about different musical styles, rhythm patterns, melody, all kinds of things like that. Of course, there are educational games designed specifically to teach math, but you can end up learning math just playing a role-playing game, trying to add up the numbers on your characters, figure out how big your bonuses are going to be. Vocabulary and language is a huge area that games teach us. A lot of people learn new words from games because they often touch on somewhat esoteric and interesting subjects. There's going to be a lot of new language, either if it's verbal or spoken or written. Morality. Games put you in situations, especially role-playing games, that challenge you to decide between good or evil actions, who to help, who not to help, what to do in difficult situations where you're pressured by time, where you have to make these important kinds of choices. You can also explore your own morality and what you think about these situations and express yourself. And for some people, this has changed their view of the world, has changed their view of themselves and who they think they are. So I think there are so many things in the context of playing a game you can learn. It's pretty incredible. Now, games are also a little bit special in that they let you put knowledge to use. So you can learn a new topic, then immediately turn around and start to use it in a very practical way. And this is really powerful for learning. It's one thing to have a lecture and have people tell you things. It's quite another then to take that knowledge and try to put it to the test with your own skills. And that's what games are incredibly good at, especially say like simulations, like a flight simulator. You really can learn how to fly a plane from using a flight simulator. Maybe it won't teach you absolutely everything you need, like the fact that you're actually up in the air. Maybe being in the simulator doesn't give you that sense, but all the technical knowledge, and you can put it to use and you can get very direct feedback with the simulator. That's true in many other kinds of games and situations as well. So I think that's a really powerful aspect of how playing with knowledge actually helps you retain and improves the quality of that knowledge. Let's see. It also gives you a chance just to practice new skills. For instance, a lot of games might involve some typing. My wife said that she learned how to type from playing video games, because the need to type faster makes you learn a new skill. Problem solving. Games are incredibly good practice at solving difficult and challenging problems. Maybe every day in your life you don't run into quite so many challenges, but the game is an environment, basically, Everything is an exercise in problem solving, and it can really help you both gain confidence in overcoming difficulties, but also figuring out strategies and methodologies that are very useful for solving complex problems. So I think that's great as well. And of course, games can inspire you to learn technology. I learned how to be a software developer because I wanted to make video games and make databases to help me play video games and things like that. So it really led me into a better understanding of technology. Many people have had to try and fix their computer or get their hardware to work or something, and you'll learn something more about how your computer and what's inside of it and how that all works, trying to resolve these problems. So I think that's pretty cool as well. Games can let us simulate experiences and learn about ourselves. There are games used to desensitize people to phobias and things like that. It can also just lead you to a new experience. Maybe you discover that you really want to travel and see the world because you played a game about exploration, you get this idea, or maybe you find that a certain experience sounded good to you, but over playing the game you learn, this isn't for me, it's not the kind of thing I like. And so you're going to learn something about yourself. You're going to learn how you can face adversity. Maybe you achieved something really incredible in a game that nobody else has done. You didn't realize you had those capabilities until you found out because you tried it. So I think it can be a real journey of self-discovery. We can learn about teamwork and competition from games. So, especially games that you play with other people, obviously. So, in a teamwork type of situation, you can learn the dynamics of leadership, of different organizations and structures, about contributing to a team, moral values associated with teamwork, and just how you fit into working well with others. Are you a natural leader? Are you a natural follower? How do you see yourself in these situations? Are you the social glue that binds people together? You're going to learn a lot from playing games with other people. And competition, how do you react to competition? Do you like competition? Does competition drive you? Does competition turn you off? This is something else that you can learn from playing games. Finally, I want to say that games are a really powerful medium overall because they do two things that are really important for motivating people to learn. One is setting clearly defined goals. Every game has got clearly defined goals. They got points, they got scores, they got achievements that you want to achieve. And this is really useful in learning as well, to be able to incrementally step up each level until you have mastered something. That's the way you learn almost any skill, and it's also very explicitly how video games are structured. Now, some educators understand and see the need for this in a regular teaching or classroom environment, but it's something intrinsic to every game out there. And so I think that is a really powerful element that's built into games that people may not think about. The other is, of course, that games always offer you rewards. They give you points, they give you congratulations, you get music, you get to see a new dialogue, you get more exploration. There are so many different kinds of rewards that they make. And that's really key in motivating people to keep moving forward, because every step of the way, you're getting something back, you're getting positive reinforcement that makes you feel good about learning. So there are probably even more ways in which games are great for learning. I think they're an incredibly powerful tool, and I don't think time playing video game is time wasted unless you're neglecting something else you need to do. In that case, you should go back, get that thing done, and then you can come back and play some games. They can enrich your life. I have learned, I just cannot imagine all the things I wouldn't know about if I hadn't played video games over the years. All right, well, that's what I think about how games can be educational. Go have some fun. Bye-bye.